Thank you. Good morning and welcome, distinguished members of the class of 2022. Yeah. And to the proud parents, grandparents, other family members, and friends. This is the 256th anniversary commencement, and it is a celebration of all of you, each and every one. Before we go any further, how about a noisy, rousing Rutgers ovation for all of you and all of your hard work and sacrifice in having come this far. Yeah. I'm pleased now to call on Dr. Brandon Williams and the university choirs for their rendition of our national anthem. Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Williams. Thank you, choir members. During 4 years as undergraduates, you experienced a controversial president of the United States who would leave office under a cloud, a nation in disarray from unprecedented political division, the murder of a black man with national media coverage resulting in protests and outcries in cities and towns all across America and the world over. A war raging overseas that will determine the future of a pivotal nation and maybe of the whole world order. And a case about a woman's right to choose argued before the US Supreme Court, and so much more. Sounds familiar, right? Well, I came to this campus exactly 50 years before you did, and I just now described my undergraduate years and yours. The clouded presidencies back in the day were Johnson's and Nixon's. The murdered black man, iconic black man, was the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The war was in Vietnam, not in Ukraine. And the Supreme Court case was a new name for us back then, Roe v. Wade. Our parents worried about our futures, and we worried about the future of our world and about being drafted into the military. But there's good news, folks. That's for the parents and grandparents. Dude, there's good news for you all. All is not lost. We survived all that, and you will survive all this. I am absolutely certain that the best is yet to come, and that with your leadership, our state and our nation will get there. For sure, there are also many differences between your undergraduate experiences and mine. Back then, we had no internet. Therefore, no social media, no email, no texts, no apps, no cell phones, no cable TV, no electric cars, and I could go on and on. The same cancer that killed my dad when I was 7 struck me 50 years later, and I'm still here. So there's... I recommend to you all a book called Free Spirit, Tom Gross's biography of his dad, then Rutgers president, Mason W. Gross. We can count on you performers to perform. Bless you. Some of my remarks in the next few sentences liberally paraphrased from Tom Gross. In the 20 years after Rutgers became the state university, 1956 to 1976, Rutgers awarded approximately 24,000 baccalaureate degrees, less than 200 of which, and that's way less than 1%, were conferred on people of color. Heck, in the graduating class from the year in which I was born in the early 1950s, of the 750 Rutgers graduates, 4 of them were black. We had relatively few women, all of them at Douglas College. Woo! And we likely had lots of folks from the LGBTQ community, but nobody discussed it. Please take a careful look around you and see what talented leaders of goodwill can accomplish in less than a lifetime. Hear, hear. I challenge you to continue to do the same. Go forth from here and do well, and while you're doing well, do good. Make us proud. I could ask no more. You should do no less. Mason Gross was beloved by students, faculty, and staff. Walking in here, standing next to Jonathan Holloway, I get the idea again. We adored Mason. He was wide open to new ideas, progress, and change. He diffused a potential confrontation with the state police when he declared that all of the students who were occupying the old Queens building were there as his guests. But Mason was so beleaguered from his battles with the governor and the state legislature and his struggles over the university autonomy that he just stepped down in the end. Today, we have perhaps the finest university president in the land. Presiding over unprecedented cooperation between the university and leaders in the state government. In 2 short years, he's turned this place upside down for the better, and he's just getting started. Before he came to us, he was Dean of Yale College and then Provost of Northwestern, as you know. As some of you know and some of you may not, he can catch a football from the best punter in the country right here in this stadium, do a dance with it, and spike that ball in the end zone. Yes, that's our president. He's not professionally happy unless he's engaging with students. He married the magnificent Aisling Cologne, and we got 2 for the price of 1. Hear, hear. I recommend to you his Faces and Voices of Rutgers video series, in which he interviews phenomenally interesting students, alums, staff members, faculty, and others. For those of you who'd like to get to know him even better, please read the autobiographical sections of his book, Jim Crow Wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride, admiration, and no modicum of affection that I introduce you to my dear friend and colleague, the 21st president of Rutgers University, Jonathan Scott Holloway.